Yo, what's up, guys? This Topic's here, and I have a plus 14 Darkflame Cleft commentary for you. This is the second last commentary I need to do, but let's get into this first poll. So I'm actually grabbing the stuff after the hallway and pulling it back into the first room, and I actually did not want to do this, but the key holder, which was not me for this key, insisted that I did this. There's a little bit of a back and forth. But we ended up doing it, so even though I didn't really want to, it's actually not ideal doing it this way. You actually want to pull everything forward into the next room instead, because it's a quicker pull. When you have to go pull that stuff back here, it takes a lot longer, and I think you actually lose time. So this is the way we did it, even though it wasn't ideal. It's a difficult pull for Prot Warrior doing it this way. You have to use every charge, every leap, a lot of defensives, because you're taking a ton of damage up front as you're trying to gather this. So that's what we did. We lusted it. But as I was going to say, this is the second last commentary I need to do this season. The only one left I haven't done is Cinderbrew Meadery. And then I've done one for every dungeon. Now, I may do one or two more later on in the season if a lot changes. I know that I'll probably do another one for Priory, because the last time I did that one, it was a +7 early on in the season, and that one probably needs another one done. Same with Floodgate. I probably could do another one for Floodgate, because I did that on +9. But either way, at a minimum, you guys have one more commentary coming. So this next pull, I'm doing double Overseer. This is pretty standard in a lot of routes. They're actually desynced, which means even if you pull them together, their abilities are not going to go off together. Because they do like the stomp that knocks enemies away, and then they also do the AoE roar that does a bunch of damage to the group, and they're desynced on purpose. The AoE, at least. That overpowering cast right there, Blizzard makes sure that they both cannot go off at the same time, so I would not be worried about pulling these together. In fact, I would encourage you pull these together because it's more efficient. So I'm going to skip this. So the next pull, I'm going to show you, I'm going to walk under these laborers to aggro them. And then I'm going to go into this next pull just straight ahead. I'm going to kick this wick lighter to kind of bring it to the side here, just so that we don't aggro that other pack. So it's just two casters here, nothing crazy. So I'm going to skip that. And then after this pull, you're going to see that we go over here to the other side and gather these. And you might be wondering, why am I doing so much trash at the start? The reason I'm doing so much trash is because we're actually going to be skipping the mini boss. So you can kind of see what a route looks like where you're skipping the mini boss. So I'm gonna finish off this pull, and then I ask for a soothe on the side that the Overseer is not, so that we can skip past. And then I'm waiting for these pack moles to run back around, because I'm actually going to aggro them. And I think I taunted that one pack mole too close to the mole herd, which is why it got pulled. So that one's my fault. I should have honestly just thrown an axe at both of them instead of taunt, because if you taunt something too close to something else, even though it's soothed, it may aggro. So that's what happened here. So I'm just trying to get control of that pull, and then I pull the boss in, because we can't wait to DPS these down to pull boss. We just need to get the boss pulled. So this boss is scripted. It just does the same things over and over again. It spawns ads that chase players and try and melee them. It'll put a stacking dot on players, so players kind of have to run away from them if their dot's getting too high. It also spawns that minecart that we just killed. You need to swap to that minecart and prioritize it down immediately, because if it does not die, you will wipe the group. And then the boss does a charge, like you just saw. The DPS should be baiting the charge into a pillar. So bait the charge into the pillar, DPS down the minecart when it spawns its priority. And the one thing that you can do to help manage the ads is you can kite the boss over the tracks right before one of those carts is going to shoot down. So the tracks will actually light up like you see here, which shows that a cart is about to come down. If you can kite the ads over right before the cart goes down, it'll actually kill them. It'll kill some of them off. So that's how you can manage the ads if they get out of control. is just by kiting the boss across a track that's about to get ran over. So, but I'm trying to work on the length of these commentaries, so for the sake of that, I will skip past this because it's just the same things over and over. And now we're moving on. So again, because we're skipping the mini boss, which is a lot of count, I did more trash at the beginning, but that also means we're going to be doing more trash here, and you'll see that coming up soon. So I'm just doing a single candle with this caster. Now I do want to mention, if you're confident with your team, maybe you're not in a pug, maybe you're in a coordinated group, you can do double candle or even triple candle. The candles are desynced, they're AoE, which means as long as your healer can top up the team before the next candle AoE goes out, you're fine. So there's actually incentive to pull them together if you trust your team. In pugs, I don't know if I necessarily have that trust, so I like to split these up, but you could probably save a minute or two if you just do a triple candle pull instead of pulling all the candles separate like I'm doing. But I'm just trying to play it safe and get this key timed. So this is where the little bit of a change in a route comes in. Because we're skipping the mini boss, I needed extra trash at the beginning, and I'm also needing extra trash here, so I'm actually going to pull these packs off to the side that people don't often pull. Just getting that caster low, and now I'm going to chain into the next group. So there's 4 casters here, so you really need to be sending all your stops and all your kicks to kill this off. Because these casts going out at all will definitely really hurt the group. You don't want any of them to go through. But I'm going to skip forward because there's nothing else to really see here. And then I go to this other side and do a double candle pull. So as you can see, the healer has us topped, so another AoE's about to go out in a second here. And yeah, as long as the healer can have the team topped, after it goes out, you're fine. Another one's about to go out, but we're topped, so we're fine. So yeah, that's that pull. We finish that pull off, and we go into this room, which can be really challenging if you don't have any way to AoE kick, silence, grip, or gather these mobs. So I want to show you guys again what I did there. So this one right here that I'm targeting, I throw an axe, okay, and I taunt this one, and then I charge to this one, leap over here, and throw one more axe at the far one, and now they're all running into me. So this is very complicated without practice as a warrior, but it's something that's very important that you get down, because if the gather here is off, there's going to be casters all over the place. We don't have anything here to grip them, right? We don't have a DK, we don't have a druid with vortex, we don't have a DH with like chains or anything, so it's important that I nail that down. So I'm actually going to play it for you guys one more time. So this is what I would do. I would throw an axe at the left caster always, which you'll see here. Axe throw, taunt this one, charge in, leap, and then throw one more axe to the far one. And you can do that every time because the adds are always in the same places. And as you see, they gathered really nicely here. Now it's just a matter of sending stops. I just sent my AoE silence there, which is going to silence a lot of them for a bit. But yeah, on high keys, if you don't have good damage here, and your teams aren't sending all their stops, you probably will wipe, because it does take a while, as you're seeing, but the mage is popping off here, which is nice. So we're going to kill this off, and then the boss is going to spawn. I said so much better because the gather that I did on those was much better than last time. So anyways, the boss is going to spawn. I don't know if I'm really going to talk about this boss much, because it's kind of an easy boss from a tank perspective, and this is ultimately a Prot warrior video. I'm not really talking about DPS that much unless it's super important. But yeah, as long as your DPS are putting the candles out and hitting them with the one wind, and your healer can top up the group after the AoE, you're probably fine. It feels like a raid fight doing this as a tank, because you literally just stand here. You move out of the way of stuff, and you literally just stand here. So I'm probably going to skip the rest of this. So we're going to finish this boss off. And we have another gather in the next room with adds that are split apart. So do not use your leap while you're walking to this next room because you're going to need it. So again, I kind of do some of the same. I throw an axe here, I throw an axe there, I leap, and then I use my AoE kick and it silences them and brings them in. So your AoE kick actually has a 15-yard range, so it can actually reach quite far mobs, which is what you saw here. Like I used it when they were pretty spread apart, and it still got all of them and brought them in. So yeah, definitely make use of the AoE kick, and this should be no problem for you. Now you guys are going to see the skip here. So as long as you have a priest, you can actually pull off the skip fairly well, because the priest is fading by right now. I'm just going to leap, and the priest is going to grip whatever class you want. He grips the paladin, and so we basically have 2 classes left. And so I want to talk about this for a second. So the mage, there's actually a spot right here in the sand that if you use slow fall and you jump, you can actually kind of like jump and drift onto the ledge here, but the mage, you would need practice to do that. Obviously if you have a lock, you can also lock gate up here, but this skip is worth it as long as only 2 people are going to die, because you're only losing 30 seconds, as opposed to this pack probably taking you like 2.5 minutes. The pack takes a long time. So the shaman and the mage just die and we res, and it ultimately probably did save us quite a bit of time. So if you have a priest or a lock in your group, and one of your other classes can make it up here, I would definitely do that skip. So now we're going to play this boss. This boss is also pretty scripted, so I don't know if I'm going to talk about it too much. Your DPS obviously have to aim the arrow at the molds. They also have to aim their circles that they get over the molds to make sure that they get them. You got to make sure that you and someone else are kicking the boss's cast Paranoid Mind, because it's a fear, and you do not want to get feared on this boss. Other than that, that's pretty much all there is to it. This is a lust boss, so you want to make sure you always have lust available, because this boss has a ton of health, and the longer it lives, the harder it is for your healer, because the whole group's taking constant ticking damage. I expect this fight to be a complete HPS check on high keys. It's going to feel similar to the 3rd boss of Halls of Fusion in Dragonflight, where it's just an HPS check. If your healer cannot output enough heals, you're just going to slowly tick dead. That's why you lust this boss. So I'm going to skip the rest of this boss. Once we kill this boss, we're going to hop off the edge here, of course, because we don't want to aggro the mini-boss down there. And we're going to start the minecart. One tip as a tank here is, if you do not have enough adds and the minecart has stopped, you should be going to pull more. You should not be only fighting a couple things. So this first pull here is fine, because it's really the only thing within your range. But as you're doing the rest of the RP, the minecart, if you see something that you can taunt or throw an axe at, it's in reasonable range without you going too far to the candlelight, go ahead and do it. Because you want to try and get through this as fast as possible. None of these mobs are that dangerous. So I throw an axe at the corridor creeper. We have the horror coming in. So this pull's okay here. We have 1 caster and then the corridor creeper. And the corridor creepers are basically irrelevant now after the nerf. The dot that you got from them used to not be able to be dispelled. So it was like one of the hardest packs in this entire dungeon, and now it went to completely irrelevant, because now that it's a magic dot you can dispel, the healer can dispel it from you, or you can just dwarf it off. And it's really not that dangerous unless it gets to 7 or 8 stacks anyway, and it's a pretty slow applied dot, so your healer can just perma-dispel you. Which means you can go ahead and do like double corridor creeper, sometimes even triple, no problem. So, might skip the rest of this pretty soon here in a second. So we got another horror here, darkness. And the minecarts continue to go, which is good because we want bigger pulls in this RP area, not small pulls. So this is an Omega pull. We got double horror, so 2 casters, and I think we have double corridor creeper in here. I can't really see the plate stacking. Yeah, we have double corridor creeper, double horror, so this is an Omega pull, but this is what you want. This is how the minecart RP goes fast. Ultimately, you just have to kick 2 things and then have your healer dispelling you on cooldown, and you will survive this fight. So, but this is like pretty much the rest of the hard pulls in the RP, so I'm probably going to skip the rest of the RP. It's just most of the same. I don't need to show this either. You guys know this. So I do want to show you this though. This is how you can save yourself 5 to 10 seconds. As this is ending and you guys go flying, watch this. 1, 2, and you can actually leap before the 3rd bounce and not get stunned. And that allows you to come and gather these mobs while your team is coming out of that stun that happens. So anything to save 10 seconds, right? So I'm just grabbing a double corridor creeper, and it looks like that's going to be the rest of our percentage here. We're like setting all cooldowns here because I think everyone had them. This mob's going to get annihilated. And then yeah, we walk to the last boss room. I think we end up aggroing a couple of these, which is no problem. So I'm just going to make sure that I have aggro on them. And then yeah, I usually elect to do the candle here, but I think the healer elects to do it in this case. I said I'll do candle, and then I think the healer said no, I got it or something. Or maybe not. Maybe I'm thinking of a different key. Yeah, the healer said that I'll do it. So I was like, okay, cool. I was like, you know what? One less thing for a tank to worry about. But typically it's a tank or healer job because the DPS are busy going to get the candles right from the edges of the room. But yeah, this boss is an extremely easy tank boss. You just are dodging the frontal, making sure the candle is moved out of the way of the frontal. And then the entire rest of the front fight is really on your DPS and healer. So the healer needs to heal through this AoE, the DPS needs to get the candles. And then yeah, just dodge the frontal, make sure the candle's out of the way, and this fight's easy. So we're going to have Lust coming up in 40 seconds up here, which is going to allow us to get through the rest of the boss. So yeah, you can see we send Lust here, the boss is getting burned down, and this key's about to be over. So, you know, not too bad. We're going to finish this key about 2.5 minutes under time, so I definitely think a 15 would have been doable even with this group, because 2.5 minutes is usually enough to go up another key level. But we probably would have definitely needed more damage to do, you know, something like a 16, because the mage's damage was definitely a little bit subpar here. But yeah, so that's the Darkflame Cleft commentary. Nice and short, only an 18-minute video, even though this is like a 30-minute dungeon. So let me know what you guys think. Leave a like if you enjoyed it, subscribe if you want to see more of this content, and see you guys in the next one.